Okay, so I'm doing this video as a response video to many correlations out there in regards to the 3 days of darkness and the earthquake that's about to happen. Now, the reason why there is this sense of the earthquake coming is because we are approaching the ninth hour in this timeline. Now, in order to understand the prophetic timeline that we're in this day that we're living in now, we need to understand how the Gospels are all overlaid with each other. We need to understand how the scriptures, especially the Gospels, are given as prophetic insight to understand the times that we're living in today. So when you know that there are two Passovers, you can understand that this time frame of 3 years from 2014 to 2017 is the 3 days from the 14th day to the 17th day, when Jesus was crucified on the cross, buried, and was in the ground for 3 days. So this is why this timeline has 3 years and also 3 nights with the 3 solar eclipses. Now, when Jesus died at the ninth hour, there was a massive earthquake that happened, and many of the saints of old were raised in their tombs, but they didn't come out of their tombs until the third day. Now, when Mary went to the tomb on the first day of the week, it says that there was an angel that descended upon the tomb and there was another earthquake. Well, it's actually the same one, because as you can see from this timeline, that the second Passover, which is the 14th day, is also the 17th day, because it's the third year in this timeline. So we've already had 3 days and 3 nights. Well, potentially the third night being the third solar eclipse, which is yet to come very soon. So we need to understand that when the earthquake happens, even though it gives it on two accounts in the Gospels, on the 14th day when Jesus gives up his spirit during the ninth hour, and when the angel descends on the day of resurrection, the 17th day, this is just really one earthquake. And so this is really what I'm trying to say, is that in order to understand the correlations that are being made at this time, the Lord is revealing to us that we are about to enter into the time frame for when the dead in Christ are going to be raised, and therefore we're going to get our transformation too. It will all happen within the same hour, and that hour is the ninth hour, between 3 and 4 p.m. on this timeline. So this is just a very quick summary video just to show you that potentially we've already had the 3 days of darkness, bearing in mind that that could be the sign of Jonah when Jesus was in the ground for 3 days and 3 nights. For this timeline, this Passover timeline being from 2014 to 2017, which is the 14th day and the 17th day of the first 3 days of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So we may have a literal 3 days of darkness, and as I've already said, that may come 3 days before the end of the third year. The third year ends on the 5th of September, the same time that the Passover night finishes in the Synoptic Gospels. When I do a Pentecost count, a second Pentecost count from second Passover, I get to the 3rd of September. The 3rd of September to the 5th of September is the last 3 days of the third year. And I've already said on another video that it could be that there could be a literal 3 days of darkness during that time period. But please, don't be storing up beeswax candles, closing your doors and windows and not going outside. It's ridiculous religious talk. You only need to be in Christ. Christ is your protection and your ark. If anything, you're going to shine bright. As we know that when the Lord brought the 3 days of darkness into the land of Egypt, there was light in Jeshem, which was where the Israelites were, in order to make a distinction. So you honestly do not need to worry about trying to make provisions. You are not of this world. You don't need to make worldly provisions, because you need to be making spiritual provisions. We need to, wisen up and be more mature in this. Time is running out. Don't be wasting your time on getting provisions for food and torches and water, etc. If Jesus can turn water into wine, then why would you need to be making provisions? If Jesus can say to Peter, go and fish, and the first fish you pull out, you'll find a 2 denarius coin, go and take it to the temple and pay for both our taxes. If Jesus can turn a few fish and a few loaves of bread into a multitude of food to feed thousands of people twice over, then why would we need to make provisions? Please, the world and the people of this world make those worldly provisions. But all you need to do is abide yourself in Christ, and your light will shine bright. Whether you are taken in 3 days to be equipped, or whether you are remaining here to be a shining light as an example. We don't know everything in its fullness, and the reason why we don't know everything in its fullness is it's because it's God's providence to give it to us when we need it and if we need it. It's his great privilege to have something concealed, and it's up to him whether he makes it known to us. But the things he does make known to us, we are to make sure that we are entrusted ourselves to these things faithfully, and respect that. Respect what we have and have been given, and honor that as revelation, not just as speculation. If it's just speculation, then I don't understand why you even want to share it, to be honest, because that doesn't bring God any glory. But if you can testify that this has come from revelation, which is what I have done on my channel, then that brings God glory. And yes, many people know that over the time frame that I've had of this timeline, where I was anticipating our exodus after the first Passover night, know that there was a time loop in the Gospels of going back into the 14th day that I only got back in March 2016. And then, yes, obviously I was anticipating that we could leave potentially in September 2016 for when the time frame for when Jesus was crucified on the cross in the Gospel of Mark. But no, it seems that we've all gone through second Passover night, and we've all gone through it in order that we would all have a second chance.